Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick Cavalli,
My name is Marques White.
and we would like to welcome you to the Wrevolution. We are recording this one day removed from the season premiere of Monday Night Raw on USA Network. So that would be the September 30th edition, live from Phoenix, Arizona. And, we got the new season, what really is new other than the stage?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. For the new season premiere of Monday Night Raw, we got that Fox money rolling in. And, it's just a whole lot of build-up for a whole lot of nothing. I'm going to be real. It's just seemed like an average episode of Monday Night Raw. I was actually kind of disappointed, to be real.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. They kind of built this up to be some kind of big thing. I mean, obviously, it's not built up to be what the premiere is on Fox, but they built it up to be this big thing, and all of a sudden, it's like, it also just happens to be just another Raw.
And I'm really hoping that a lot of that Fox money is going to SmackDown. It kind of seems like they're building up SmackDown to be like the new A show. And you got Brock Lesnar, you got The Rock coming on this Friday night. So,
oh my God, did you know The Rock was going to be on SmackDown? That didn't air 3 different times.
So hopefully SmackDown is leagues better. We already know NXT is going to be better because it's always better. So fingers crossed for that. But let's jump right into the show.
I'm gonna jump in, and first things first. I'm gonna try not to talk about this for too long, but the stage was what is it? What is that? Please explain.
Dude, I was like Tony Hawk could come out and grind on that thing. I mean,
yeah,
I was half pipe.
I was fully anticipating somebody to acid drop on it by the end of the night. That would be a perfect stage for All Elite Wrestling. Darby Allin would be right in his element, but unfortunately, not exactly sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. The backlights look cool, but nah, that's also maybe I'm just dumb, but the new LED posts for the ring look like the ring posts. The boards they're huge.
They're significantly larger than their counterparts from last season. And who in their right mind would authorize making the ring posts, which were already significantly larger than they needed to be, so much bigger?
I mean, obviously it's got to be Vince McMahon, right? That's how you take it to AEW. Let's make the ring posts bigger. I want the ring posts bigger, damn it.
Yeah. And then, of course, we also have the realization that we have the new announce team.
Yeah, so I actually didn't realize that we had a new announcement. At least I didn't know that they were there this Monday night until I heard Jerry Lawler come in, and then it hit me. I'm like, oh, that's not Michael Cole. Yeah, Vic Joseph just sounds like, a less bored Michael Cole.
Well, and we talked about this throughout the show and then a little bit over the night last night, but it seemed like Vic got a lot better as the night went on.
Oh, absolutely. He definitely started to improve, started to come into his own, he felt more comfortable. And actually, as that happened, I started to, understand, this is why Paul Heyman would pick this guy, because it clicked. I was like, oh my God, or as
excuse you, I think you mean, oh my God! Yeah, I mean, I felt it too. I felt the Joey Styles vibes a little bit from Vic Joseph, and it felt kind of like a love child of Joey Styles, and
yeah.
Can you really say golden era Michael Cole? Is that fair? Or
it's definitely better when he's with Taz back on SmackDown.
So I'm referring to his time with Taz on SmackDown when he was a little bit less scripted, a little bit less Vince's meat puppet,
not interrupting segments all the time. That's oh my God, thank God. And this is spoiler alert: The Fiend appears on this episode of Raw. But when he comes in, normally you hear Michael Cole. Oh my God, it's The Fiend! Just cutting in, just ruining whatever immersion you have there. And thank God Vic Joseph he says one thing and then just lets the segment just kind of play out, and thank you for that, because that's my biggest pet peeve with Michael Cole. We show, don't tell.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's something we talked about. It feels like Raw is going to be a lot more cinematic. It's going to be produced in a way that's more cinematic than Fox is producing SmackDown, which is probably going to be a little bit more like a sports show, which is going to be great. I think that's going to be really good, and it's going to give wrestling a good new life. And then when, of course, we had the return of the year, most important return of the year, Pyro.
Pyro's back, yes. That was when we first saw that, I was like, oh my God, like, thank God, Fox, thank you for the Fox money. Like, that's amazing. Like, definitely we're seeing that come through. That's the only thing I saw that came through on Raw. Like, the biggest difference that we have pyro. Some people that didn't have pyro before have pyro. We'll touch on that later, but yeah, I have in big bold letters here in my notes every time someone comes out. Just, oh my God, pyro. Like,
yeah.
Everybody except for AJ Styles.
Well, yeah. And this is the thing. I mean, for those of you guys who don't know, we attended All Out in Chicago, and obviously fantastic wrestling show, but one of the biggest takeaways was just how much the atmosphere and things like pyro add to that atmosphere, and the difference in the atmosphere between an All Elite wrestling show and a WWE show, which we've attended many.
Yeah, yes. So let's get into this show. So Rey Mysterio, he comes out, cuts a promo talking about how he's gonna win the championship for his family, and is immediately cut off by who other than the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar.
Here comes the pain.
Brock Lesnar returns to Raw. He is not happy. Rey Mysterio begins to cut a promo on Brock Lesnar in Spanish, and then just Brock Lesnar was having none of that, just picks him up, Suplex City, just gets right into it. And the whole time, what is his name, Dominic?
Yeah, Ray's son Dominic.
Sitting on the front row, right outside the ring, by the barricade, and he's watching his father get beat down. And there's a point where Dominic, he stands up, looks like he's about to hop the barricade, about to do something, and then he locks eyes with Brock Lesnar, and he reconsidered that pretty quickly.
Well, and I know I said this to you last night, but they might have to book another custody of Dominic ladder match, because I'm pretty sure Brock decided that he was in fact Dominic's daddy in that moment.
Yeah, Brock gets out the ring. Dominic goes to sit down. He's like, yeah, nope, I'm good. Sorry, Pop. I don't want none of Brock. And then Brock says, it's too late for you. Just grabs him by the throat, whips him over the barricades. Standard Brock Lesnar beatdown, whips him up and down the ring. Gets a little bit more to Rey Mysterio, and then normally, that's the end of that segment. You get the guys in suits coming down, Paul Heyman screaming, Brock, stop, and it's Fit Finlay.
My name is Finlay, and I love to fight. Well, do you love to fight Brock Lesnar? Is that what you want to do after retirement?
You like suplexes, Finlay? Because that's what you got, yeah.
Time to eat one.
And then continued beatdown of Dominic and Rey Mysterio by Brock, and then Brock goes out, does a little pose, and you have Rey Mysterio, who I mentioned this to you actually, when they bring out the stretcher to put Dominic on and they're wheeling him out, Rey is just like completely no-so the attack by Brock Lesnar.
Dominic all of a sudden needs an ambulance, but Rey is 100%. He's ready to go. He's ready to fight.
Rey, who suffered the same level, and I guess they're going for the angle that, we're Dominic, and
Rey's a pro wrestler, and
Rey's a pro, but we all know, they've told us that Dominic has been training to be a professional wrestler, so
maybe this is their way of burying Dominic and just saying that, hey, we love your dad, but it's never gonna happen.
I mean, maybe, but yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, it was, of what happened on the Monday Night Raw, this was probably one of the better 2 segments of the show.
Yeah, I'd say it would definitely be one of the better segments of the show. This Raw was extremely underwhelming.
Yeah.
And speaking of extremely underwhelming, unless you have something else to mention about this, we could just move right on to underwhelming number 2.
Oh, God. I don't want to talk about this match.
Look, we don't have to talk about it a ton, but obviously it does have a huge part in the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view coming up on Sunday. Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks with Becky on commentary, which we'll get to that.
Her steam's back.
Yes, the man has her steam back.
Yeah.
His steam, her
Business Becky. Yes.
Businessman.
That's what she called herself on commentary. Yeah, she's got her steam back. She even acknowledged it, actually, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, this match is completely nothing. I don't even want to talk about it. If you want to know, Banks picks up the victory. Cool.
So Becky comes out after Alexa Bliss, much to the surprise of the commentary team. Nobody had any idea this was going to happen. And then maybe halfway through the match, Jerry the King Lawler starts talking about how he's talking to Becky backstage about being on commentary and not attacking Sasha Banks? I'm genuinely confused.
Becky gets up on the announce table and is like having a stare down with Sasha Banks, and Jerry just keeps going on about like,
no,
Becky,
don't.
You promised me. No, you told me you wouldn't do this. And I'm just like, but you were so surprised when she came out. I would rather talk about the commentary team than this match because, my God, like, besides Vic Joseph, I mean, Jerry, look, I love you, you're a legend, but, dude, I mean, And I've heard rumors that he's actually a filler for, another guy until they can find somebody new, and I really hope that rumor is true.
At this point, and again, all due respect to King. King is an absolute Hall of Famer. He's a legend. I would take just about anybody over King right now. I mean, maybe with the exception of Booker T.
Well, Todd Phillips and Byron Saxton are floating around without a job right now, so maybe one of them comes up. Maybe, I mean, you could take Dio too. What is his name? Dio Madden. Well, you could take him too.
I feel like I warmed up to Dio Madden later in the night. It seems like he reserved himself for wisecracks, and he hit home with a couple of them.
I guess. I mean, maybe give him a couple more weeks for me to maybe warm up to him. But.
Right. I mean, he's brand new. I've been saying Jerry the King Lawler needs to retire for years now.
Yeah, so maybe. So biggest thing about this match is what happens after the match is we get Becky. She storms the ring. Becky and Banks have a brawl inside the ring. Banks flees into the crowd. And Becky, what I thought was kind of a cool line here. Let's see. She calls her out and she says, "You made it personal and I'm going to make it painful." She says retribution is coming. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, quick side note, in the middle of this matchup, we just got random EMS sirens, which was kind of weird. They're supposed to be Dominic, I guess, being taken out of the arena.
But they were echoing through the entire arena. I'm not certain
that ambulance
how
was
loud
mic'd.
Ambulances are, but somebody needs to work on that.
Yeah, it was weird.
I don't know if this happened nationally, internationally, but locally here, between segments, the most important thing of the entire night happened, and it was the All Elite Wrestling Wednesday Night Dynamite commercial taking place on Raw.
I really hope it was nationally and not just locally because of how the balls of like Shad and Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes and all those guys over at AEW to just like air a commercial for your debuting show during the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. That's just,
I mean,
I love it. I love it.
You can bet that you'll be seeing an ad for SmackDown or something on
I'm sure.
Dynamite.
Hell, you might even see an ad for NXT. I mean, it's the Wednesday Night Wars, right? I mean, I can't wait.
I'm really hating that term and the whole idea of the Wednesday Night Wars simply because it feels like WWE, of course, NXT might be their best product, but they don't treat it that way. So it almost feels like WWE is handling this in an underhanded way. Like, oh, you guys can have NXT across from you.
Well, yes and no, but it almost feels like Triple H was saying, Vince is saying, you know what, I have better things to do, so we're going to let Triple H kind of handle AEW, let him take the reins on that. And I guess it's cool because I've been wanting NXT to get to TV for years, so if this is the way it's got to get done, then I'm okay with that.
It definitely works for me.
I want to move on. We got the Seth Open Challenge.
Yes. Seth Rollins comes out and he's very, very, very disappointed with the actions of Brock Lesnar, and the hearts go out to Rey and Dominic. But most importantly, I am your Universal Champion, and I am a fighting champion, and, I promised you a title match tonight, and I'm going to give you one. I just don't know who I'm going to be facing.
Yeah, so that match, all of a sudden, it's an open challenge. Who is going to be fighting Seth Rollins for the Universal title? We'll get to that a little bit later.
Seth definitely felt more disappointed with the fact that he didn't have an opponent than anything happened. Like, oh no, Brock, I'm mad at you because you took away my opponent.
Pretty much.
I get that you're going for the I care thing. It wasn't.
Was anybody really upset that we weren't going to see this match? I mean, I love Ray, I love you, but I mean, what did you do to really deserve this match?
Well, and it's not just that. I mean, it feels like the outcome of a match like this is
I mean,
it's decided.
I mean, God forbid. Yes, wrestling is predetermined, but
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Spoiler alert: wrestling is predetermined, but I mean, you can't. You got to make it this obvious. I mean, a match between Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins in 2019. Seth is winning.
With an upcoming match on Sunday between Rollins and The Fiend for at least give it the AEW treatment where Cody came out and was like, yeah, if I lose to Sammy Guevara, then I'm not going to be facing Jericho at Full Gear.
Yes.
So, a little bit disappointed in that, but we do eventually get our open challenge answered, but we're going to move on next to the next match on the card, which is the Raw Tag Team Championship match, which pitted...
Glorious!
Yes, the gloriously awful tag team of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode against the hottest up-and-coming tag team in the WWE, or one of, if you're a Street Profits fan, I don't really care, but Heavy Machinery, they've been really showing things up on the
stakes
on the main
and
roster.
weights, baby. That's what I like to see.
Well, sometimes you gotta eat them both. So, again, not to nitpick, I love you, King, but you talk about how you've never seen a Heavy Machinery match, you've never seen these guys wrestle, you've never heard a whole lot about them, and then just after that, you talk about how excited you are for their match because of everything you've been hearing about the kids.
Yeah.
It's not good, WWE. What I'm trying to tell you is the production top to bottom on Monday Night Raw was bad, and we'll get to the most egregious error later. This was just bad. This was just bad.
Yeah, so Champ Center first. I didn't really get that. I don't really need to break this match down in depth because while it was an okay match, but we knew it was gonna happen. At the end, we get which me and you both said Otis may have the hottest hot tag in professional wrestling right now
in WWE. In WWE, I will argue hot tags with you all day. In WWE, he has the hottest hot tag. You and I will argue about Luchasaurus's hot tag off the mic later. He definitely does have one of the hottest hot tags in the game right now. And we talked about this at length, and we'll actually talk about this later in the video, but Otis's hot tag is really fiery, and the fans get way behind it.
Yeah, we got to see the caterpillar, which is just amazing. I love it. So into this match, Heavy Machinery goes for their finisher. Dolph Ziggler gets in the ring, hits the zigzag, followed by multiple super kicks. Robert Roode hits the glorious DDT. Champs retain.
And of course, the most confusing part of this match is where we cut to a full commercial break during the middle of the match. A championship match, nonetheless. When we got the side-by-side break for Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks, which had nothing to do with anything. And no disrespect. I love you, Alexa, if you're watching this. Following this, we kick off the Miz TV season premiere, which was star-studded.
Miz has pyro.
Well, yes, the Miz.
Sorry,
has pyro.
I'm way too excited about the pyro.
Everything about pyro has been extremely exciting. As a wrestling fan, the quote-unquote death of pyro by the hands of the WWE was awful. And to see the Fox money coming through and us actually being able to get our pyro back, I'm loving it. But yeah, the Miz has pyro, and his first guest comes out. It is the Nature Boy Ric Flair,
the 17-time champion Ric Flair.
WWE got to talk. I'm addressing you directly right now out there, WWE, and in the world in which you certainly don't listen to your fans anyways, but hear me out. Your production team needs to all be fired. This was horrible. Maybe the most well-known fact in professional wrestling is that Ric Flair is a 16-time world champion. And for what it's worth, a lot of people know that because a lot of people know that John Cena is a 16-time champion. But how do you mess that up?
I mean, really, how does that get by? I mean, I'm assuming this stuff has to get cleared by a lot of people. So how do you mess that up? And I'm thinking, like, did Flair win a title in TNA? Are they counting that? I mean, maybe they're counting some of his, because he certainly won more than 16. So maybe they're bumping up the record as
he
like
certainly had more than 16
middle finger to Cena, like, hey, you want to break Flair's title reign? You got to come back and win a couple more first, Johnny boy.
Just come back and tie it, but how? I cannot express in words what I would like you to do. Find the man in charge of creating his Minitron. Give him a pat on the back and say, you tried very, very hard.
No, we didn't.
But we no longer need your services because you are stupid.
Yeah, if you mess something up like that, I mean, 7 is clearly higher than 6. I mean, you clearly didn't try that.
Jeez, thank you for the first grade math update.
I mean, it was like he needs it clearly, because I don't know how you messed it up. But yeah, Ric Flair gets in the ring. We get the most awkward handshake of 2019. I mean, can we demonstrate this? It was like. Yeah, like, and then I don't even, that's about as cringe as that was. That's about as cringe as it was. It was like a good 5 to 10 seconds of just like Ric Flair and Miz's hand just like doing things, and I was like, what is happening? I didn't know what was happening, but yeah.
Innuendo not intended.
Then Hulk Hogan comes out, and he's accompanied by the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Okay, again, I love Jimmy Hart. I think he's a legendary manager. Did he really do anything in that segment except stand there and look pretty?
I mean,
why was he there?
It feels like, to counter AEW, WWE's like, ship out the legends just to start wheeling them out, guys. I mean, here comes The Rock, here's Brock, here's Ric Flair and Hogan, and then you have Jimmy Hart.
The only thing that I could think with Jimmy Hart is maybe, I mean, Jimmy Hart does have a reputation as a good guy. A lot of guys like Jimmy Hart. A lot of people, a lot of fans like Jimmy Hart. So maybe trying to get the counteraction to some of the Hogan heat that you have when Hogan comes out, maybe trying to get a bit more of a pop. But still, why wheel him out there if he's not going to do anything?
I will say, off of that note, the reaction for Hogan from the crowd was definitely better than the last time he came out. I mean, it was still a little bit mixed. You got a little bit of booze in there, but I mean, for the most part, it looks like the crowd was loving the Hulkster. So cool, I guess. I mean, I have my own personal opinions on that whole situation. Not going to talk about them here, but yeah. So right off the gate, Hogan's getting in the ring. Ric Flair's like taking the mic. He's like, "I'm sick of your music. I'm sick of this." Like he's just kind of.
To which the Miz looks extremely confused.
Yeah, so Hogan gets on the mic, and he's just overjoyed to be in the ring with Ric Flair. He's calling him the GOAT and giving him all this praise. And then Ric Flair's like ready to cut a shoot promo, man. Like,
yeah, I think somebody forgot to get Rick his meds.
Or his script, either way. I mean, this looks like this whole segment was just completely off the script, because Flair's just like going on a tirade about Hogan. Hogan looks confused. Miz is like trying to contain himself from laughing.
If it was off the script, then the Miz should have just done the right thing and given us one more match.
Yeah, the crowd starts chanting during this one more match. I'm just like, no, please, I don't want to see that.
To be honest with you, after finding out what's actually happening at Crown Jewel, I kind of want one more match, because I don't need another 10-man tag team match.
If you think that the Goldberg versus Taker match was bad, I mean, this would just be like two wheelchairs colliding with each other in the hallway.
Neither of them are concussed.
Yeah, but Flair can barely walk, let alone.
Can he still do a blade job?
I don't want to see that. But yeah, these two, they go back and forth on the mic. At the end, they start laughing it off like, oh, this is all just for fun, this is for show. And we get the huge announcement from The Miz that, Crown Jewel, it's going to be a 5v5 tag team match.
Team Flair versus Team Hogan.
Yeah, and we get the announcement of Hulk Hogan's team captain, which is Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, I think there's not a whole lot of other people who could really lead the babyface side right now.
This confused me because I was thinking, Crown Jewel, maybe
Universal
that's
Championship
your Universal
match?
Champion. Not only that, but like even if he's by this point not your champion, he's still Seth Rollins.
Well, you could have a rematch at Crown Jewel. That would be the next pay-per-view, I believe.
Yeah, so you would think they'd have something better to do for Seth. So this is insinuating that either Seth is losing on Sunday,
or they just don't care about the Universal Championship.
Well, that because it's Crown Jewel, so we're not going to give this away there, right? I'm assuming that's I'm coming from Vince McMahon's side of thinking. I don't know, but yeah, Seth Rollins is the team captain for Team Hogan, and then we get Ric Flair, who begins to announce and is immediately cut off by Randy Orton's music.
Randy, you probably did Rick an absolute favor by doing that, because Rick was he was not in the right place last night.
No.
But Randy Orton's going to have really good chemistry with Ric Flair. Obviously, we know that from Evolution, but going forward, he's going to have really good chemistry working with Ric Flair, and I think him and Seth Rollins as the two captains, that's going to be really good.
We remember their match from WrestleMania a few years back. That was fantastic. So
absolutely, it's going to be something that we can definitely build a feud off of, and they may actually be able to get me excited about a 10-man tag team match.
So then we, out of nowhere, no pun intended, but out of nowhere, Randy starts talking about, well, you're the team captain for Hogan, I'm the team captain for Flair, so I'm just thinking you need an opponent, so Captain v. Captain match, Universal title match. We've got our man. The open challenge has been accepted by Randy Orton, and then this gets really awkward because this gets awkward because all of a sudden they're saying let's get this match going. So you've got production crew members coming rolling up, and it's you've got this really awkward camera shot of Randy just standing in the ring telling people to roll up a carpet. And it just goes on. We could have gone to commercial break here, but no, they wanted to show you everything. Everything. It's really, it's long. And then right as this match is about to start, Corbin comes sprinting down, and Orton and Corbin jump Seth Rollins.
How dare you?
My apologies. King Corbin.
His Royal Highness, and you just call him by his last name. What is wrong with you?
Yes, His Majesty, King Corbin, comes down, and together him and the Viper double team Seth Rollins. And who comes down to save the day? Who to save his buddy Seth?
The new American hero, Rusev.
Yes, Maria's baby daddy, Rusev, comes down.
Who apparently is not Lana's lover anymore, which we will get to later as well.
Yeah, so now we have the first two members of each team announced. We have Randy and Corbin on one side, and then we have Seth and Rusev, which I guess Rusev is now a face again? Or was he a heel?
I have no idea, because then he cuts the promo right afterwards, which is the next segment, so I suppose this is the perfect transition, but he cuts a promo right afterwards where he doesn't want to talk about his home life, and then he says that Seth Rollins is not protecting himself, and he's not doing things that a Universal Champion should do, so I'm going to challenge you to a Universal Championship match because you owe me because I saved you.
Yeah, that was weird. The biggest question I have from that is just, really, where's Lana? That was my question was, okay, this is all fine and everything, but where's Lana? And
I really wish we didn't find out.
They really brushed it. Yeah, we get to that later on.
I certainly wish we did not find out where Lana was.
After that, we get an Authors of Pain promo package, which, was actually kind of cool. What they were saying was really cool. If only, I didn't have to read the entire promo, but I mean, it was cool. I enjoyed what they were saying.
I get the idea. I get the idea of recording a promo in your native language. That's a really cool idea. It's just, it probably would have had a little bit more of a full effect on an American audience had it not been subbed. Had it not had to be subbed.
The biggest thing I'm taking from Authors of Pain right now, the fact they're even doing these repackaged promos just shows me these guys needed Paul Ellering. I mean, you bring them up from NXT and you just have them face jobbers after jobbers, and then you take away Paul Ellering. Like, that was the mouthpiece. That was what made this group different, unique. And yeah, without them, they're just another big man tag team. And I mean, hopefully, maybe they prove me wrong in the future. But right now, I don't care. So
speaking of big man tag teams, I really wish we could skip this match.
War. The Viking
Raiders and the OC. Now, I love the OC. Don't get me wrong. Gallows and Anderson, since day one, I've always been fans. But
clearly Vince
yikes,
isn't, because they got the jobber entrance
against a team who is significantly worse and significantly less interesting and significantly less exciting than they are. And, honestly, everything about the Viking Raiders is just plain boring. Find a new gimmick.
Yeah, they're hot take, but I'm actually not exactly a fan of the Viking Raiders. Ever since coming up to the main roster, I don't care. And the fact that they're going up against one of my personal favorite stables in the OC, and you do all this build up, you give them a new snazzy theme song, new merchandise, and then you've done nothing with them.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do ourselves a favor here. We're going to send the Viking Raiders to NXT, and we are going to push the Ascension.
I think you're on your own with that one, but
no Ascension. Okay.
No.
Well, whatever, man. I love the Ascension, so.
We get the call of the night, actually, and it's from our boy Dio.
Dio Madden.
When is it Ibar or Ebar? I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to them, to be honest with you. I was setting up the audio last night while all that was happening because I could not possibly care less.
Well, he goes to the top rope, to the top of the turnbuckle, for a big splash, and Dio screams
305 Live.
Yeah, that was the call of the night. It's like one of the few things he actually said, but I give him credit for that one.
And again, this is where I start warming up and going, Dio Madden, maybe not so bad.
Yeah, so in case you care, Viking Raiders, they get the win, whatever, cool.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, so then we get Charlie in the back with Cesaro, and Ricochet challenges him to a match. So then we have Cesaro versus Ricochet. I have in my notes here, this match was fast AF.
Yeah, I have it. Same thing. It's way too short for these two. Could have been the match of the night.
Easily.
And we will select the match of the night by the end of the night. But spoiler alert, this is not it.
Ricochet wins.
With a front flip into a West Coast pop. Ricochet, please don't hurt yourself. I love you. I don't want you to die.
It was a beautiful move, though. It was
amazing. Please be careful out there, kid.
So then, one of the other best segments of the night, because it's the best segment of every Monday Night Raw.
This was the best segment of the night, if you ask me. But we don't do segment of the night, we do match of the night. So that's not a spoiler.
Yeah, the Firefly Funhouse. And I got to tell you, they're doing an amazing job with the... Please, Vince, don't mess this up. I mean, you look at the response that this is getting over social media. I mean, on Twitter, YouTube, it's like the most viewed video every week on the WWE channel.
Yes.
It's huge. It's clearly popular, and they know it, so please don't mess this up.
The Fiend is the most terrifying thing in wrestling right now. And it's genuinely terrifying to people our age at points, too.
I was seeing... actually, after Raw went off and after you went home, I was scrolling through social media and I found out that WWE had actually been airing Raw commercials on Fox nationwide, and part of it was the Fiend, this little jump scare pop up randomly throughout the night, and non-wrestling fans were taking Snapchats and posting oh my god, what is this? Am I getting haunted? Am I gonna die? And they were legitimately scared.
Yes, sir.
So and you get one of these here doing this Raw. We get later on in the night, you get a Fiend jump scare, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Which for a wrestling fan, that's exciting. For a non-wrestling fan, you think somebody's going to come through your TV and kill you.
So yeah, Firefly Funhouse. We have to mourn the loss of our dear friend Rambling Rabbit, who...
Can we have a moment of silence for Rambling Rabbit? Thank you.
Yes, he was scared to death of what The Fiend is going to do to Seth Rollins at Hell in the Cell.
And with all due respect, I am too. Seth is a fantastic competitor.
Yes.
Yeah, The Fiend is just... I don't even have words. After seeing what he did to Finn Balor, what he's going to do to Seth is just... It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be one of the most interesting matches of the night because if they allow it to go long enough, which I don't know if they will, they're still building The Fiend is just unstoppable, but if they allow it to go long enough, this could be one of the top Hell in a Cell matches of all time.
Absolutely. So next we have AJ Styles versus Cedric for the United States Championship match, and this was the best match of the night.
Yeah, I think you and I both vote for match of the night as AJ Styles Cedric Alexander.
Clearly.
Fair enough.
Yeah, clearly.
It was still too short. I mean, every match on Raw was too short.
I felt like this match actually had the right length for a free television match on a Raw. I mean, would I love for these matches to go 15, 20, 30 minutes? I mean, the wrestling fan in me, yes, but I also understand we can't be giving away stuff like this free TV. Do I think for something as big as the season premiere of Raw, I mean, God knows we heard that phrase too much tonight. So
did you know it was the season premiere, guys?
Yeah, so if you're gonna build up this show, then maybe you should go 30 minutes. I mean, I don't know.
And that's what I was thinking with the way they were building up the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. It was going to be something extremely special. We were going to get matches the caliber of 15, 20, 30 minutes for something like AJ Styles, Cedric Alexander, and the Universal Championship match, which was going to be Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. We'd probably get both of them to just show up, show out, and fly high, and none of that really came to fruition. I'm not saying it was a bad match by any means. I think Cedric Alexander and AJ put on a great match, and the finish to the match was easily one of the best finishes I've seen in a long time, but it just felt like it probably should have been a little bit longer on a Raw that was supposed to mean so much.
And you actually got me thinking about this. Now I'm actually a little upset because I just really don't understand how on a 3-hour block of Monday Night Raw you get matches that are like 5 to 6 minutes long. Some of them go 1 to 2 minutes.
Well, because you had to squeeze in the Viking Raiders and the OC and
can't forget the Bliss versus Banks match.
Bliss and Banks.
Yeah, so yeah, let's talk about the finish of this match. I mean, this match was amazing. Multiple near falls, but then in the end, you get Cedric going for the lumbar check, who then gets reversed into a Styles clash by AJ Styles. AJ retains. So it was an amazing finish for an amazing match. Now we move on. We get the Street Profits, who are cutting a promo in the back, and the only thing I really got from this was, I actually really like the Street Profits, but it's kind of become this thing where they just kind of pop on Raw, and it's like, hey, comedy part of the show, here you go. And so the only thing I got from this was that they are staying on NXT. They say, you want to know where you can find the Street Profits? Look on Wednesday nights. Yes, they are staying on NXT, and guess what? They want the smoke.
Perhaps my favorite part of the interview is when they start talking about The Fiend.
Wait.
What do you mean? When they were talking about The Fiend?
You don't say his name 3 times or he appears. No. That's the other thing I got from this promo. You do not say his name 3 times. You saw what popped up on the TV. I'm not letting that happen to me.
Well, and to be perfectly fair, you will count that in the match at the end of the night. King does say The Fiend 3 times. I'm just saying. Maybe the Street Profits got something there.
Maybe, but yeah. So we're gonna talk about this next match only in the fact that it exists.
Are we gonna talk about it for more than 25 seconds? Because I really hope not. This match was, again, I know you have to build undercard rivalries, but why? Why is it there?
So Lacey Evans versus Natalya. Who cares? Eye rake followed by roll up grabbing tights, and Lacey Evans gets the win. Moving right on.
Yeah, let's move on because Lacey Evans, honest to God, you're boring. I don't get your character. I don't understand it. You do not do anything for me.
And Natalya is just a big ball of cringe. Every time I see her on my TV, I just feel...
I love Natalya. You're not that great, but I love you.
But, so we go now to the backstage. We're supposed to be getting an interview from Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Psych, just Paul Heyman. You do not get to speak with Brock Lesnar tonight.
No, he's in a fight mood. He's in fight mode.
Yeah, so Paul starts this off
We don't talk about fight mode.
Yes, so Paul Heyman starts this off by... That was terrible.
Yeah.
Starts this off by apologizing for Lesnar's actions, but then immediately starts to blame Vince McMahon, says, that's what happens when you allow Brock on Raw when he's on fight mode.
Fight mode.
Someone's got to die, I guess. And just happened to be Dominic and Ray with the wrong place, wrong time.
Fight mode.
Yeah, yes, fight mode. Then he begins to call out wannabe tough guys in the industry. And this was like a low-key shot.
It was a low-key shot, but
shade.
This was one of the 2 times during the show that members of the WWE, I don't want to say roster, but I suppose roster would be correct as well, de facto mention AEW.
Yeah.
Those fake tough guys from the other shows or other brands, and then Jerry the King Lawler earlier in the broadcast, which was the one thing I like that you said, mentioned that this is not just the biggest week in WWE, it is the biggest week for professional wrestling.
Well, King's not going to be on commentary long because he said pro wrestling and de facto mentioned AEW, so it's nice knowing you, King.
Yeah, you're going to get fired for the one thing you did right, not the 15 things you did wrong.
So, anyway, we get... Is it even technically a Maria interview? I mean, all we get out of this is that Rusev is not...
Stop. You're not giving this enough credit. We are talking about the most compelling storyline in the history of professional wrestling. Who is the father of Maria Kanellis' baby?
This is definitely more sports entertainment than pro wrestling. I mean, another who's the father storyline. I mean, God knows we've had enough of those with the we had Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan a couple years ago. Now we've got this, and we'll talk a little bit later on.
And we're still trying to figure out who Dominic's daddy is.
Yeah. But so the only thing we got clarified was that Rusev is not the father, and then right away Sasha Banks grabs the mic.
How dare you, Sasha? I know you call yourself the legit boss, but how dare you interrupt an interview about the most important thing going on in professional wrestling outside of the 24/7 championship right now?
Yeah, Nick, I'm going to be honest with you. I think you're probably the only one a little too upset about that. I think it's just you, bud.
Nah, man.
But,
fight mode.
Okay, so Sasha Banks grabs the mic and she calls herself the Blueprint, and then she's actually cutting a pretty good promo here. She says that she's going to make Becky Lynch tap, says that she's the only woman that's been in both women's Hell in a Cell matches, and that no man is going to win her match. So
that's really cute. That was really adorable, Sasha. I love how you're trying to be tough, but you're still going to lose.
Oh, yes, we know who you're going for, I guess, on Sunday.
Man's got her steam back.
Well, we'll see. Limo arrives after this, by the way. Who's in the limo? I mean, your first thought was immediately Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah. Vincent Kennedy McMahon obviously was in the limo. You know, to be perfectly fair, they do never give us an answer to who's in the limo. I mean, there are 2 people who surprise show up at the end of the show, so
it's anyone's guess.
It could be anybody. Like, good clarification job, guys. Again, production crew, please try harder.
So, at this point, I'm looking at the time, and it's at 10:45 at this point on Raw, and
Eastern Daylight Savings Time.
Yes, Eastern Time, and they come back from commercial break, and Rusev's got the jobber entrance. This is the main event, Rusev versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title, and the guy that's supposed to be fighting for it got the jobber entrance, and there's
the Bulgarian brute Rusev, who also just became a naturalized American citizen. That went over really well.
Yeah, he just got the jobber entrance, and There's about 15-ish minutes left, so I mean that's enough time for a match. But at this point,
extremely underwhelming match.
But at this point, I'm thinking no, like something's got to happen here. And
it's gonna break down.
You did mention about the naturalization thing of Rusev. I mean, they introduce him. And they give his weight
in kilos,
which I'm just like.
And then they call him the Bulgarian Brute after on social media, just absolutely pumping the fact that Rusev is proud to be an American. He's so happy to have his citizenship. He just got naturalized, and now.
He's still. I mean, it's that Bulgarian heritage. So I mean, he's still gonna be the Bulgarian Brute. That's his thing. So.
I guess that makes me the Italian Stallion.
I mean, you weren't born in Bulgaria, so
that's fair.
Or to Italy, for that matter. But, so this match happens, and doesn't happen long before we get... Oh, and I actually have to, before I get too ahead of myself, while this match is happening, Randy Orton and Baron Corbin are standing...
Just standing on the stage.
Just standing at the top. And I actually found out later that Corbin was sitting on his throne, and it actually broke during the match. There's video of it online. Go check it out.
Of course it did.
It just kind of collapsed, and you see Randy just burst out laughing. Even Corbin kind of laughs about it. So we don't see that on camera, but there's video of it online. Go ahead and go check it out. But this match doesn't even really get into the second gear before it gets interrupted by the return of who other?
Bobby Lashley.
The Destroyer, Lashley.
You know, I love Bobby Lashley. I'm happy to see him back, but not for the reason that he came. Oh, man. You know what? You go ahead and talk. I can't talk about this.
So Lashley comes out. We're all like, okay, but why? And then all of a sudden he starts gesturing to the entrance, and then he keeps gesturing and gesturing. And
Three times.
This goes on for like a minute too. Like it gets uncomfortable. We're like, okay.
Yes, and then we cut to the middle of Lana's entrance theme.
Yeah, and my first thought is, thank God it wasn't Leo Rush that came out. But
yeah, we were sitting there like, please, for the love of God, do not let this be Leo Rush.
But then we go from thankfulness to just confusion, because yes, Lana comes out
to just utterly disgusted. Oh, what was this segment?
So Lana comes out, and Rusev at this point is just like, hey, that's my wife. And then Lashley goes, oh, you like that, huh?
Bobby Lashley goes, hey, yeah, that is your wife.
One sec, let me show you something. Begins, first a little kiss with Lana, and at this point we're like, okay, cool.
Rusev got that look like, did you just do what I think you did? Did you just kiss my wife? Did you just, boy?
And then Lashley goes, one more time. So then pulls in Lana, and this, for some, obviously the fakest kiss ever, but, it goes on. They're, going at it. Lana's putting her leg up in the air, wrapping her legs around Lashley. You can see Corbin and Orton laughing on the side, but...
You can find this video available now on Pornhub.com.
Yeah, because it gets long, it gets uncomfortable. And at one point, I was thinking, okay, I'm just like, Lashley, you can wrap it up. That is... Both you and Lana are married IRL, so this is...
I was fully anticipating somebody to wheel out of bed and us to get a whole another rated R celebration.
Yeah, repeat of the Lita and Edge. What was that, 06, 07?
Yeah. Oh, man. I have no idea. I was young and I wasn't allowed to watch it.
And
parents saw it and made me turn the TV off.
But it's funny because while this is happening on stage, Rusev's just sitting there. And at this point, I wonder, how long can another man kiss your wife before you get out and go do something about it? But he's just like, huh? Just standing there just utterly dazed and confused.
I would have rolled straight out of the ring and ran straight for him, but luckily he was interrupted because apparently Bray Wyatt's hand was getting jealous because it was not down somebody's throat the way that Lashley's tongue was down Lana's. So he emerged as the Fiend, shoved his hand down the throat of Seth Rollins, hit him with the mandible claw, put him to the floor, lights go out.
And then we get the
loop laugh track.
The looped can laughter. It just the same laughter, just repeating.
Yeah, that was really bad.
again, the production of this show was just not very good.
But,
So that was Raw.
Yeah. I think you're going to get that with Raw. I feel like they probably put their grade A production team on SmackDown and on NXT, and it's going to take some time for the guys on Raw to gel with the new setup. And I hope that's the case because
fingers crossed, man.
When I decided to do this podcast with you and these videos, I was excited for the AEW stuff. I was excited to get to the NXT stuff. I was excited for possibly expanding into UK and 205 Live, and I love SmackDown. But I can tell you right now, the last thing I wanted to do was sit and watch the most subpar 3-hour Monday Night Raw I've ever watched in my life.
Biggest takeaway from this episode is, God, Raw needs to be 2 hours, because if you're not going to actually take advantage of that 3-hour time block, instead of just trying to cram as much in as possible, actually take your time, develop storylines, give these matches breathing room. And instead, you're just jamming, and throwing everything but the kitchen sink.
Well, the nice thing about having 3 hours is you can afford to do longer matches. You can have 20-minute matches on your show if you have a 3-hour block instead of a 2-hour block. But instead of putting on longer or better, more entertaining matches, they're just throwing a ton of segments at you that have nothing to do with anything. And the funny thing is, one of the best things to happen to Raw so far, and stupid as this sounds, is the 24/7 championship. It's been extremely entertaining.
Where was that tonight?
And it didn't show up.
Yeah, where was that? I was actually looking forward to seeing, okay, what wacky things they're going to do. Obviously, we know Carmella is the new 24/7 champion. I was really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that. I mean, is it going to be a bunch of women chasing around now? Are the men still going to be going after it? And if so, how they're going to do that?
I really hope so.
We got none of that, so... I mean, yeah, I was disappointed in this Raw. I was almost falling asleep by the end of it. And if I didn't have to take notes and really pay attention, I probably would have turned it off and gone to sleep, because I just did not care about this Raw. I was extremely disappointed. I'm fingers crossed SmackDown is leagues above what they put on tonight for Raw.
Absolutely. So we already did Match of the Night. Match of the Night, AJ Styles versus Cedric Alexander. That was the across-the-board decision. We will also be selecting an MVP of the night for every show for Raw, NXT, Dynamite, and SmackDown. And at the end of the quote-unquote season, and for next year's season premiere of Raw, we will be going ahead and breaking down who had the most MVP votes for their individual brand and who was this year's wrestling MVP. Vote for MVP. Who do you have from Raw Week 1?
Well, after getting, a full night and a day to, think about this, I actually changed from what I was at last night, and I think I'm actually going to go with Cedric Alexander. I thought his performance in that AJ match, not only did you participate in the best match of the night, but your individual performance was fantastic. I mean, every time Cedric's on screen, he's just taking every moment to just enjoy himself. I mean, he's amazing what he does in the ring, but also just, you can truly see that, he's loving every bit of this. He's just loving life, and the crowd just eats it up.
Totally understandable. My vote goes to the second best body in the business, Otis. The second best hot tag in the business too. Otis, you really showed up, you showed out, and the fans continue to get behind you the way that they have. I'd like to see how you continue to develop as a superstar. Obviously, still rough around the edges in some ways, but you got a lot going for you. You got the fans behind you, and when you got the hype train going, sometimes it's hard to stop it. So go out there, keep doing what you're doing, and my vote for Week 1 is Otis. So our rankings right now on Raw are Otis and Cedric Alexander tied at 1.
Yeah, there you go. So that was Raw. We don't really have, unless you have anything else to talk about. I think we're done.
I've got nothing else to talk about. I will remind you to join us hopefully tomorrow. We will be releasing a video for Wednesday Night Dynamite, possibly the day after, and same thing for WWE NXT. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and do all those fun things that I'm supposed to tell you to do.
Yes, be sure to join the Wrevolution. We are going to be posting weekly videos. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a good time. Thank you for joining us.
Have a good night, guys. From Detroit, Michigan, I'm Nick.
Marcus.
Join the revolution.
Have a good night.